Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shannon, and today I had just a little bit of a different, it's not really different. I do like just having videos where I just conversate with you guys and just kind of talk about what's going on, because I have a few maybe unpopular opinions. At least I feel like after the videos I've watched, no one really hits home right now with how I'm feeling about some of this stuff. So I wanted to kind of talk about it. Because I think it's important, right? Let's get a lot of opinions out there. First off, I just wanted to say that I've been getting a lot of things on Snapchat, Instagram, not related to YouTube or anything like that, but just based on my weight loss story, things like that. Prior to my most recent videos, you can probably see a difference in my face because I did lose 45 pounds now. I've kind of plateaued for the past month and a half, so I need to kind of figure out what I'm going to do to push through that. But if you have any questions about it, what I did, this wasn't something that happened like this. This was a gradual, healthy weight loss and to maintain. So, it's been about a year. I haven't gained anything back. I didn't do keto. I didn't do any of these high fat, low fat, high carbs, different diets like that. I definitely still eat and maintain a healthy lifestyle. With moderation. So if you do have any questions about that, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. If not, that's cool too. It's just something I want to do to help you guys out if it's something you're interested in. So moving forward, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was Britney and Baby, because I feel like this is the one that I feel really strongly about. A lot of people are saying that she came out and that when she talks about her and Frank and things like that, that she wasn't forthright with saying that she had gotten married with him and that makes her deceptive and she's lying and blah, 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 blah. So I kind of want to put this out here that I feel very differently about this. So I feel like regardless if you're a YouTuber, if you have a huge following on Instagram or whatever, or if you're just a regular person, right? No matter where you go, people are always interested in what's going on. They're gonna have questions about who's she seeing, who are they dating, oh, they broke up, this is happening. But I think a lot of people need to realize that those things are not right for us to know. So I'm not entitled to knowing if Britney got married, how she got married, where she got married, if it was a ceremony, if it wasn't a ceremony. Just because she chooses to share bits and pieces of her life with us on social media doesn't mean she waived away all her rights to having any kind of privacy. Especially when she has little kids involved, she's pregnant. I think a lot of people need to start thinking in a lot of ways, with beauty influencers, vloggers, people who just share opinions in the world. We have a really kind of scary society, at least personally that I feel, that it's a very intense, almost like a witch hunt in a way, guilty until proven innocent in a way as well. A lot of, at least, some things absolutely warranted, right? Some people have done really awful things on YouTube, on the internet, in the real world, things like that. But I just feel she shares a lot. Britney shares a lot with people on the internet. And I think she deserves to have her own bit of privacy. If she feels like she wants to share that with people, I know that they just did their pregnancy announcement and the gender reveal, things like that. And that's all great, but she doesn't owe us anything like that. And I think something with as private as marriage, those are things that those are moving her life and propelling her life forward. Those are huge life changes for her. And I think it's important to let them deal with it. Let her enjoy it, right? Let them have their moment together and not feel so entitled to these other people's business and lives and so hyper focused on this weird transparency aspect. And I think a lot of people, you just need to really start looking at things with a grain of salt. they don't owe us those things, right? Yeah, it's great if they want to share it with us. But the witch hunt, I feel with that just needs to just die. She's allowed to get married. She's allowed to get divorced. She's allowed to date. She's allowed to not date. She's allowed to have another baby. She can do whatever she wants because it's her life and whatever she chooses to share with us. Awesome. Cool. That's, I think that's a really fun thing. Next thing I wanted to talk about was this thing with Marlena. I just watched her video come out about the beauty community. And I think honestly, watching this unfold has been fucking crazy. It blows my mind, right? I don't watch Manny or Laura. Those are not like, sorry, Isabel. Are you okay? But so I don't watch them religiously. This isn't something like, I don't watch their tutorials. When I was growing up in makeup, I was watching Jacqueline. That's like all the tutorials I watched. That's how I learned how to do everything. And honestly, just like random ones. Right now I'm super into Raw Beauty Christy, things like that. But the biggest, I think, issue that I have with that is like, I think it's a lot bigger of an issue than like what even we're really like focusing on. I mean, I'm not going to talk about what she said because there's just there's no defending it, right? Never should have fucking said that stuff. You should know better than that. You know, those things are so incredibly insensitive to say about other people. These are human beings that you guys are talking about. They're not just like a doll. They're not an accessory. They're not a TV show with fake characters. These are real people's lives. These are real people that you're talking about when we talk about, you know, racism in the community. That's a real, you have a huge platform. These people have a huge platform, right? You just have to really spread that, like with what you feel like there should be more positivity and inclusivity, things like that. I won't even really touch on that because yeah, we've all said some dumb shit growing up. I'm sure no one is perfect, right? But I also think to a certain point when you're, you know, a person that has a really big following, we need to be able to have that personal connection and really apologize, but, you know, really mean your apology. Anyways, you can watch Peter on that, Peter Mon, if you guys feel a certain way about that, because that's really just my only opinion. But when I hear, like, I want to more focus on like the money aspect of this, because I actually think that's really interesting, because we kind of hear this going back and forth, like a little tidbits, right? Little tidbits of like how much you should charge for a review, how much this, how big of a following you have. And I think that we as consumers need to really be smart about who you're listening to, but also like what you think about things yourself and coming up with your own opinions, right? For a lot of the time, I blindly followed Jacqueline and people like that, and I was like, oh, well, I love her tutorials, and I still do, absolutely. But when you hear things that I don't know what influencers are getting paid this much to do this, but in Marlena's video, she talks about how like people are asking for $60,000 for just like a review or a mention. Can you imagine? I can't imagine that. Like, to me, I don't, and it's not like I'm like, oh honey, don't get your coin, that's just, but it's like, I just think that, I don't know if it's like from what she said, like small businesses can't afford that, right? So then you're like monopolizing this business of the makeup community, makeup culture, where like we are seeing things we think that they love, but we don't really know if they love that. And honestly, like a lot of these trips, it's probably cheaper to send these influencers on these trips and pay them $60,000 a review. Because think of how many people review the same thing, right? Like think of how many people review Shape Tape. And that's just an example. I have no idea if they got paid, whatever. But if you think about that, if they're paying $60,000 a review or a mention, things like that, littler companies can't compete with that. Even Marlena says with Makeup Geek, and I remember when that was like a huge topic, everyone talked about Makeup Geek, and now you kind of see it where, I mean, if I just go off the top of my head, like Beauty Bakery, which I still actually think is great because as far as I'm aware, they are like a littler company. I don't use any of their products, so I can't say anything. But like Tar, like Trippin' with Tar, I know all about all those trips that they take them on. And I don't think those things are bad, but I think that us as consumers need to really start thinking of who we're endorsing and what we want to see from the makeup community, right? Like when we had Tarte come out with a very limited shade range, you know, by purchasing that, you're kind of, I mean, it's makeup, right? So the seriousness level, it definitely ranges. Me personally though, I want to support companies that are doing a really good job and aren't abusing their power in that way. I don't want to just go and purchase the same brand over and over and over and over and over because it's getting smashed down my throat by 8 different influencers. But at the same time, sometimes that's the really only way, because I'm not about to go buy and try out 8 different palettes. Like I'm not about to go and see what kind of foundation I feel like will work better for my face by buying like 2, 4, 5, $30 foundations. Like, I'm not going to do that. But then it kind of rolls back to like, well, then what do we do? Like, who do we trust? Like, who am I going to listen to? Who am I going to look to for those kind of reviews? And unfortunately, I don't do that very often anymore. Like, I think the only people I look to for reviews is like Raw Beauty Christy, which is crazy because you should see my subscription list. Whew, so many beauty gurus. But the thing is like, I'm just tired, you know? Like, I love, honey, hey, what are you doing? You got your ball? She gets little ones stuck underneath the thing. Come here. Come here. Come here, Mama. Oh, they can't see you, honey. Oh, there's a nose. But I think it's good. Like, and I think like a really big part of this has kind of pushed me to make more videos. Like, I don't monetize any of my videos right now. Not that I'd ever be opposed to doing it. But right now I just enjoy sharing my opinions. But I think if a lot more people did that, and we kind of just get out, and I mean, it just is a shift, right? Everything always shifts, everything changes. You know, it's like the economy, it gets to a certain point, it has to change. You can't just always be on this trajectory where the same people are doing the same thing. I don't know why that is. I heard it's some science thing, I don't know. But, so, I don't know. Let me know your opinions. I'm really interested in that. Because I feel like these past couple things, I'm like almost blown away with like the reactions that people are having. I mean, Lara's been dropped from all of her sponsorships, but then to me, I'm like, why is Lara just getting dropped? Like, why aren't all these other people who have been doing these things that we've come out and we've seen them say awful things? Like, I think to me, I'm super, like, I'm not really sure why it's so hyper-focused on her, because Manny has had collaborations, and like, I feel like it was a huge backslash against him. And then I don't really feel like anyone else is feeling the brunt of it as much as Lara is. And I think that's interesting. So let me know what you guys think. Other than that, that's probably just the end of this video for me to ramble. Again, if you want a video on weight loss, gym techniques, things like that, Gymshark reviews, I'm wearing their things right now. And it's not sponsored. I buy all of it. So let me know if there's anything else you guys want to watch. Thank you again so much for supporting my little baby channel. If you do like what I'm doing, subscribe. And I don't really have a family name, but if you want to just be here to watch me talk about random shit, go ahead and sign up. Sign up. Click it. I don't know where it is. Okay. Bye.